Going to revisit this Bosch Series 8. Done a bit on taking it apart, well, taking the front off, this lower bit, putting a maintenance flap in so you can get access to the condenser, because they gum up. They're meant to be self-cleaning. It doesn't seem to work out like that. So there's 2 filters in here already. One's you're meant to take out every clean, but stuff gets past it. So I was around my mother-in-law's and she's got a newer version, not the same model, but a newer Bosch machine. And what they've done now, they've put a little easy to access pull down flap, and inside there's a cage with 2 clips. You just pull it out and then there's a 3rd filter. Here comes the culprit. This is the main reason we get all this problem with fluff. Like I was saying, I don't know where I was. Anyway, they've got a 3rd filter. So there's obviously they've accepted that there's or figured out that there's a need for it. So it got me thinking, can we do something with this to act as like a 3rd safety net, try and stop this? Prevention being better than the cure in everything, really. So I got on Amazon and I've got a couple of these. And what they are is tumble dryer foam filters. So my thoughts are, we'll take the panel off, get the maintenance flap off, and then cut this to size so it fits in the gap just in front of the condenser, which is where the Bosch one sits. But it's got a cage to hold it, but we haven't got that. And then moving forward, once we've got that in and put this back together, to simply change it, my hope is you take these 2 out, just reach in, pull it out, and so you can clean it every time like that. Get yourself something fairly flexible bit of plastic, and you can just find the clips. There's 5. Unclip it from the bottom. Don't do it from the top because you'll snap the retaining hinges off. And try not to force it, otherwise the clip just sort of digs in and you can't shift it. A thinner tool than this might be better. There we go. See, once you get it, it just pops out. Come on, don't be shy. There you go. That one. That one. That one. And one more. There we go. And you're just lifting these lugs up. See, you just sort of lift that up. There's like a flat bit there you need to get off, and you have to, once you've got it, you've got to give it a bit of a shove, but it's knowing how far to take it. Right, now we get this flap off. If you've already got one of these maintenance flaps, you can get them from Amazon. I'll put a link on the description if you haven't got one. Bizarrely enough, when you put these in, I did another video on that. I'll try and put a link up for that, but there's actually a panel and it's already marked out, so all you do is just follow the line that's already there and then you have it. So it's almost as if they intended, and all these screw pegs, they're already there, so like they knew it might be a problem, isn't it? Alright, get these out of the way, and that's it for dismantling. Now this hasn't been cleaned for quite a few months. There's a little bit there which isn't as bad. Now I know that doesn't look great, but compared to what it normally gets like, and the reason I know it's fairly clean is you can see this pipe here, but look past that in the background. Normally when they're dirty you can't see them. Now this is only the front condenser. There are 2. One's a receiver dryer, or one's not a receiver dryer, an evaporator, and one's a condenser, but however, whichever way it is. In the summer, we needed to take this out. So while it was out, what I did was, I just took this front panel off, had the machine sitting on a sort of a couple of blocks of wood so it was angled. And at the back, if you follow the black pipe that comes down from this tank, follow that down, it goes into the back end of this unit here. There's a little flap that lifts off and it gives you a hole about this big. Just stuff the hose pipe down there and let water run out of that for about 20 minutes. And yeah, did a fairly deep clean. I think it's a little bit easier than taking the whole machine apart, because if you're not in a position to be able to do that, but running a hose pipe is fairly simple. Like I say, we're going to look at getting this filter in because hopefully prevention is better than the cure. But I'll give this a quick spray up. I've got my handheld pump sprayer in it, so I'll give it a little bit of a clean up, try and clean all this up, and then to empty it, I've got the service menu in P3, which just runs the pump, and it'll pump that back up into the tank, so it won't come flying out. But if you do it, don't go mad, don't pump loads of water in it, because obviously that tank up there isn't as big as this cavity here. But let me clean this up. See the rows of pipes I was talking about? If you go, you can see, well, what's that, 4? I can see 4. It might not come out on camera, but I can see 4 different rows. It's just a quick spray up, just to make sure. I mean, there's no point in leaving the gunk behind there. The advantage of putting the hose pipe in the back is, if you imagine if the stuff's going in this way and you're trying to force it in a hose pipe that way, you're trying to force it down a funnel effectively, you're going to block it up. It's better to try and get it to come out, back out the way it went in. But yeah, this summer it was quite an easy job to do. So that's clean, and now I've got this in P3, and what that'll do is that will just run the pump. I don't know if you can see the water going away, but that's going to pump it up now into this tank, and I'll stop it, empty it, because obviously there's probably more water in there than that tank can hold. Cardboard template, and this is just a little bit bigger because I think we want it to be a snug fit, and it's easier to chop stuff off than it is to add stuff to it. So it's 230 across the top millimeters, 114 millimeters down the side, and then there's a little cutout in this corner which I've done at 25 across, 25 up, and just done a 45-degree angle. So that's our starting point, and I basically used the packet or the Amazon box that this lot came in. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a straight edge that's already existing, and then just cut it. I don't think it needs to be pretty. We're not getting marks out of 10, but as long as it's more or less the size, I think we'll be all right. I say if it's a bit too big, we can always cut it down. And I don't know whether this is going to work or not, but I figure it's worth a try. And the theory is there's a couple of holes here. See, look, there's dog fur on it already. It's a nightmare. There's a couple of holes here. What I'm thinking is I'm going to get a bit of the offcut, jam it in there with a bit of super glue, and call that done. So let me do that. That's the holes filled in. I just cut a little rectangle. Strip. Oh, geez, dog fur. This is my life. Cut a rectangle and then turned it into a square and just pushed it in the hole. And it actually looks quite good until some ham-fisted goon gets the super glue out and sticks it to your fingers. And if you get it in this stuff, it doesn't seem to go off. So you'll squeeze it, like there, and it's kind of still wet. But however, just be careful with the super glue. But it seems to have stuck it together. I can't push them out now anyway. So that, theoretically now, will fit in there. It might need a bit of a trim, but my hope is that, actually that's pretty good. Fits in there all right. A little bit of a gap there in that corner, so maybe make that, say 20 by 20. Make that 20 by 20. Right, now the thing I don't know obviously is how easy it's going to be to get this out, because if this isn't easy, it kind of makes this all a bit pointless. right hand down, pinch it, pull it up, that's it out, and to put it in, put it down, locate it in that corner, put it in the bottom, and the top's sticking proud, but you can poke that in. Right. Yeah, that goes in all right. Right, okay, back together. To pop this cover back on, this is the maintenance flap. There's a peg here and a peg there. They're different sizes. So the big one at the bottom, you'll see there's a bigger hole on there as opposed to that one there. If you do it the other way around, the bolt holes will line up, but it won't sit right because the big peg will be holding it up. So make sure that goes on the right way around, and it should go straight in and be flush all the way around. You've then got 6 screws, a T15. Pop them in. Don't over tighten them because you're screwing into plastic, and all this is doing is making a seal and holding that flap on. They're not holding the weld together, so don't go mad, because obviously if you have to keep taking this on and off every now and again, you don't want to strip the screws out. Right, that's that. So that's that back on. There you go. And then to put the cover back on, it hooks in at the top. You should have more than this because obviously I've broke mine. And then you hook this in at the top, and then just gently push it in. You'll hear it go click. There you go. And that's that. So hopefully we've modified it so prevention is better than the cure. Hopefully this one's helped you out. Check out my other stuff. I'll see you on the next one.